I just want to check my balance, she said. The billionaire laughed, until he saw the screen. The morning sun washed the entire city in gold, touching every polished window, every steel rooftop, every busy street filled with rushing footsteps and impatient horns. In the heart of this towering jungle stood the Meridian Trust Bank, the largest, wealthiest, and most intimidating financial institution in the region. People came here wearing suits that cost more than some families earned in a month. Deals worth millions were signed here. Futures were built here, and just as often, futures were crushed. But on that day, something unexpected happened. The heavy revolving doors pushed open, and into that world of marble and glass stepped a child. A little girl, barefoot, wearing a faded brown dress with a fraying hem. Her hair was messy, tied into a loose knot as if someone much too young had done it herself. Her name, though no one knew it yet, was Erin. In her tiny hands, she held a single object, a small, worn-out bank card with the edges bent and the numbers fading. She pressed it to her chest as if it were the last living piece of someone she loved. In many ways, it was. Every head turned as Erin walked in. Some in confusion, some in irritation, some in quick, silent judgment. Wealthy clients stepped aside, wrinkling their noses, as if poverty itself were contagious. Erin didn't react. She wasn't here to be seen. She was here to survive. She approached the nearest counter, stretching on her toes to reach the edge. "Excuse me, ma'am," she whispered. The woman behind the desk blinked, startled. Her name was Ms. Rowe, a gentle-faced employee who immediately softened when she saw the child's trembling shoulders. "Yes, sweetheart?" she asked quietly. Erin lifted the card with both hands. I just want to check my balance." Even the air seemed to pause. Other customers turned, listening. Some scoffed. Others sighed. One man muttered, "Who let her in? This isn't a shelter." But Ms. Rowe ignored them all. She stepped out from her desk and crouched to Erin's height. "Of course," she said gently. "Can you tell me your name?" "Erin." "And who gave you this card, Erin?" "My mother," she whispered. The woman's heart tightened at the word mother, because Erin said it like someone who no longer had one. Erin held the card even closer, as if it were armor. "She told me, if anything ever happened to her, I should come here and ask someone to help me see what's inside." Ms. Rowe swallowed, her throat thickening. "All right," she said. "Come with me." But there was a problem. This card wasn't local. It belonged to something deeper, an old archive account type that could only be accessed from the private terminals behind the executive section of the bank. And the only person with authorization to use that terminal was him. His name was Garen Vale, a man whose fortune stood on stock towers, corporate kingdoms, and investments so vast that even the bank's highest executives treated him delicately. He was known for three things: his wealth, his influence, and his arrogance. That morning, he sat comfortably in the VIP wing, surrounded by advisors and analysts, signing documents worth more than most people would earn in a lifetime. He laughed loudly, his deep voice echoing across the polished interior. He looked untouchable, unshakable, like a king in a palace of money, until Ms. Rowe approached him. "Mr. Vale," she said gently. He didn't bother looking up. "What is it?" I need access to your terminal." Now he looked up, his eyebrows lifted. "Why? Is this a new client? Someone important?" Ms. Rowe hesitated. "It's for a child." Garen blinked. "A what?" "A child," she repeated. "She needs help checking something on her card." One of his advisors chuckled. "Oh, this should be good." Garen waved his hand dismissively. "Bring her here. Let's see this. Urgent balance." He said it mockingly. He wasn't cruel, just a man so far removed from hardship that he treated it like entertainment. Ms. Rowe brought Erin forward, placing a comforting hand on her small back. When the advisors saw her, their laughter slowly faded. Erin stood there quietly, clutching her little card so tightly it bent in the middle. Garen leaned back, amused. "Well now," he said lightly. "What do we have here?" Erin swallowed. "I just want to see my My balance. Her voice cracked on the last word. Somewhere in Garen's chest, something small stirred. A feeling he couldn't quite place. Curiosity? Annoyance? Guilt? He wasn't sure. He took the card. It was worn nearly smooth with time and handling. "This thing probably has $2 left on it," he murmured, inserting it into the archival slot. His advisors chuckled again. But then, the screen loaded. Numbers flashed. Columns scrolled. And Garen's smile died. His eyebrows pulled together. He leaned in, then leaned in farther. "What in the world?" His advisor stepped closer. "What's it say?" Garen didn't answer. He was staring too hard. The number was enormous. Impossible. Life-changing. A sum so large that even he, a billionaire, inhaled sharply. The room fell silent. Aaron looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. Is there nothing?" she whispered. Garen slowly lifted his gaze, and something shifted inside him. This was no homeless child with a zero balance. This was a beneficiary of one of the largest, untouched trust funds he had ever seen, left behind by someone with immense wealth and immense heart. Her mother had not been poor. She had simply been sick, and secretive and selfless. This child had been walking around with a fortune in her pocket. A fortune she didn't even know existed. Garen removed the card gently, almost reverently. "Aaron," he said, voice quieter than it had been in years. "This account, it belongs to you." She blinked. "Yes. That's what my mother said." "No," he whispered. "You don't understand." He turned the screen toward her, not that she could read the numbers. Her eyes widened anyway, more from the seriousness on his face than anything on the display. "This amount," he said slowly, "could carry you through your entire life, could give you a home, education, safety, everything." Her lips parted, and then the tears came. Slow, trembling, uncontrollable tears that slid down her dusty cheeks. She covered her face. I thought it would be empty. I thought I had nothing left." Garen didn't expect the ache that hit him right then. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder, hesitant at first, then steady. "You have more than most adults will ever have. And I promise you, you'll never be alone with this again." For the first time in his life, Garen Vale stood up not because he was important, but because someone else needed him. "Get her water," he ordered softly. "And food. And someone call the child services director. I want her case personally assigned." His advisors stared at him as though he'd changed species. Ms. Rowe covered her mouth, tears gathering in her eyes. Aaron looked up at him, her small voice trembling. "Sir, are you angry at me?" Garen shook his head. "No, Aaron. I'm humbled by you." Her tears fell harder. For the next hour, everything changed. Aaron sat with Ms. Rowe, slowly drinking warm tea, as people bustled around her with gentle urgency. Forms were filled. Calls were made. Arrangements were set. Garen supervised everything himself. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Something in that small girl's voice had broken through the walls he'd built over years of success, power, and ego. He found himself watching her, not with pity, but with a protective calm he didn't fully understand. When everything was ready, he crouched in front of her. "Aaron," he said, "your mother loved you more than you can imagine. She made sure you'd be safe long after she was gone." Aaron wiped her eyes with her sleeve. I miss her." "I know," he whispered. "But from today on, you're not walking alone anymore." She hesitated. "Sir, can I ask something else?" "Of course. Why were you nice to me? You were laughing before." Garen sighed softly. "Because she was right." "I laughed," he said slowly, "because I thought you were here with nothing. I was wrong. And sometimes, adults need moments like this to learn how to see again." Aaron tilted her head. "See what?" "The value of a person," he answered. "Not their clothes, not their shoes, not where they come from, just who they are." She nodded slowly. Then something unexpected happened. She reached out and took his hand. a small, warm hand in a much larger one. And for reasons he could not name, Garen felt something settle inside him. A responsibility, purpose, quiet vow. Will it be okay now? She asked. Garen squeezed her hand. Yes, he said. It will be more than okay. When Erin walked out of the bank later that afternoon, holding a small bag of food, her mother's card, and a folder of documents explaining her new guardianship arrangements, she stopped in the sunlight. Felt different now. Warmer, softer, safer. She looked up at the sky. I found it, Mama, she whispered. I found what you left me. Behind her, Garen stood inside the bank doorway for a moment, watching her go, not with the eyes of a billionaire, but with the eyes of a man humbled by the smallest person he had ever met. A man changed. A man awakened. Erin turned back once, lifting her tiny hand to wave. He lifted his hand in return. And in that simple gesture, two lives, so far apart in class, wealth, and experience, found a moment of shared humanity. A moment neither of them would ever forget. Because sometimes miracles don't arrive with noise. Sometimes they arrive quietly, in a little girl's trembling voice, in a worn-out card, in the unexpected compassion of a stranger, and in a bank where one sentence changed everything. I just want to check my balance.